I kind of alluded to it. I think Duke has the easiest draw of any top seed in the tournament.
Yep.
Do you agree with me?
Yes. I saw that this morning, and I hated to be that guy. I'm glad you said it before I did. I'm like, of course. We were talking about this last week. We were talking about this last week that I was saying in the past, you'll look at a tournament bracket and you'll say, oh, there's Duke. They're number one. They're playing in Greensboro, and they've got the easiest draw of any team in the tournament. And where's this first round? I don't know where this first round is, where it starts. But in previous years, it's like, hey, you've got the home crowd advantage and you're the number one seed. And also your path to the Final Four is much easier than everyone else's. And that's exactly what I see here. Okay, Bama's a 2 seed. Fine. Your 3 seed is, who's a 3 seed here? Wisconsin. Arizona's a 4 seed. Arizona will shoot 37% on a regular basis from the field. Oregon's 5, Oregon's solid, but overall, this is not nearly the difficult region that other number one seeds are going to have to face. So of course it goes to Duke, and I'm sure Double D is excited. Oh, Duke's playing in Raleigh. Exactly. Not Greensboro, Raleigh. My bad. Still in North Carolina. That's exactly my point. It's like number one seed, and you're absolutely going to have a home crowd advantage because of the proximity to Durham. Every year, I feel like.
Yeah, it always feels like that. Duke always gets the luck of the draw. So I was looking at these teams, and like maybe there's a team that could challenge them. Obviously, the first person you'd probably, or the first team you'd probably think of is Alabama, but they're going into the NCAA tournament with some injury concerns. I understand that's the case for Duke as well, but it does look like Cooper Flagg is going to be back in business. Grant Nelson looks like he might miss a game or two. He's a big part of what the Tide do offensively. Second leading scorer, and it was big down the stretch last year in March Madness for Alabama. So especially when you take a scorer away from a team that really needs their offense to thrive, because the thing about Alabama is they don't play a ton of defense. Their defense is slightly better than it was last year, but they have to score like 90 points if they want to win a game. Maybe some other interesting teams. Wisconsin has been good for most of the year. I know it's very easy to see yesterday's game and say that's the team that you choose to beat Duke because their offense obviously can go cold. But for the course of the year, they've been like a top 15 offense. So it's not really something that we've seen all season long. I don't think that they have the high octane offense to really contend with what we've seen from Duke, because we know Duke can score a ton of points. So it just feels like it's going to be Duke coming out of that region. But I don't know, Jenks. Who else here could challenge them? Like, are you high enough on BYU? I was thinking of putting BYU ahead of Wisconsin. Like, they have a matchup against Wisconsin. I was kind of thinking of, hey, let's go BYU here. Who else do you think can challenge Duke? Anybody?
God, no. No, I don't. I'm sorry I'm directing my anger towards you. Like this, maybe Bama, but it feels like Bama will be outclassed. I like BYU a lot. They've won 9 of 10. That only loss came to Houston, but they got blown out by Houston. I just feel like once they get BYU is a team that I think could maybe make a run, a sneaky run. Kevin Young's done a great job in Provo with these guys, but once they reach that upper tier, I don't know if they have that next level to hang with the Dukes and the Bamas. Duke is just in a class by itself here, and I will say to Duke's credit, what they did without Cooper Flagg in the ACC was damned impressive. Like, to lose your star player and to just play lockdown defense, I think it was very much a showcase for how complete Duke is as a team. Like, yes, Cooper Flagg gets all of the attention. He should get all the attention, but this is a really good team that can lock you down. And for them to go through the ACC and to win it without Cooper Flagg was really serving notice to everyone else. So, which makes me even angrier that they got this bracket in the East. But I just don't see anyone challenging Duke. Honestly, Duke at minus 110 to win the East. I mean, it's not a ton of value, but I kind of don't mind it.
I know. Like, the more I look at my bracket, the more I'm like, wow, Chelsea groundbreaking, picking another 1 seed to advance to the Final Four. But sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I do think that it's probably Duke's bracket to win, or region, I should say. Like I said, I did bet on some games in this region already, Because that's the thing. Like, even if you don't think these teams advance, maybe you can take them on the spread. I do think there's some plucky underdogs here, especially if they're getting a lot of points, because who are the ones I said? Akron. I think they're getting 14.5 against Arizona. Arizona is one of those teams that their offense is really good at times, but they can go cold. We've seen it in the tournament before. So I think I like Akron getting a lot of the points, and Liberty, one of those teams I mentioned that can shoot the three ball especially well. 39% three-point shooting team on the season, one of the best marks in all of college hoops. Going to be real interesting going against Dana Altman and that Oregon zone defense. So something has to give there, but I think Liberty is getting a lot of points. So I'll be on Liberty there. So maybe that's the way that you make this region interesting, because other than that, I think it's going to be a lot of Duke.
Yeah, it'll be interesting from there's two different ways you can look at this. From just an entertainment perspective, right? Like from a competition perspective. I mean, when you're picking a tournament winner or you're picking guys to advance, teams to advance, you're just picking an outright winner. So it's ho-hum, that's boring. But from a betting aspect, yeah, then you can make it really interesting because the number's the number, and maybe we can find some value on individual matchups. But if you're talking about who's going to advance, then it just looks like Duke. And by the way, if we're talking about numbers, Duke has been awesome against the number this season. Like, not only have they been winning, they've been one of the better teams in the country when it comes to covering the number as well. Man, I'm just spitting out all the Duke hate this morning, but full credit to them.